Hello friends, welcome to or back to my channel. My name's Haley and today we're going to be talking about my June TBR. So if you watched my last video, you would know that I think it was my May TBR. So I haven't been super consistent with videos. That's okay. But I do want to get back into the swing of things, and since it is June, that means it is almost summertime for me, which means, well, it's almost summertime for everybody, but it is almost summer break for me. I'm a teacher and I am about to be free for the summer. I have actually very short summers because teachers have to go after the kids finish school, and then I will go back at the beginning of August for cheer. Those will not be like full days, but I will be coaching, and so I will go back at the beginning of August. So I really have like the last couple weeks of June and then July, but still like 6 weeks unencumbered reading and YouTubing time. I'm really gonna try to put some effort into YouTube and Bookstagram this summer, since I like really genuinely do not have any plans other than just hanging out and reading and like enjoying myself. Last summer I was really depressed and I did not do like hardly anything for myself. I did spend a lot of time like making stuff for my new Taylor Swift classroom, which I really enjoyed, but like I just like didn't have fun. I didn't go outside. So I got a pool membership this summer. I am gonna try to just read. I'm gonna try to get some sunshine, exercise a little bit, you know, take care of myself, and like just really like get that rest that I need, but also not like just fall into like a little depression hole and just like rot the whole summer, because that is also not good for me. So anyways, that is my little rant about hopefully what I can accomplish this summer. But let's talk about my June TBR. So for June, I am going to be reading for a couple different things. One of the things is going to be my summer reading bingo, which I can put up on the screen. So far in May, I have read 8 books, which is honestly huge, because I have, again, in case you didn't see my May video, I have from May 1st to September 1st to read this. So I have 4 months and there's 24 prompts. So I really need to read like 6 a month to spread it out evenly. So the fact that I've already done 8 is so exciting. So I have that. That is my progress so far. So I'm going to be reading some more books for that. I'm going to be trying to read some of my ARCs to get my NetGalley ratio up. And I'm going to be trying to read some of my book of the month books because I would like to complete the challenge. I like doing different little challenges here and there, as you can tell. And right now I've only read 3 books for that challenge, and that is 15 books that you have to read. So those are kind of some of the bases I'm trying to cover this month. Some of these books will cover multiple bases, which is great. So let's just hop right into it. Let me look at my list. So the first, we're gonna do the bingo, we're gonna do the summer bingo books first. So the first one is Worth Fighting For, and I cannot remember the author's name, but this is an ARC. This is the 5th book in the Meant to Be series, which is like a series of adult romances that are like Disney retellings to an extent. I actually own this entire series, but have not read a single one. So I'm not really sure like how close they are to like the Disney stories. Obviously they are like modern day kind of retellings. And I did read online that you should read them in order, and I haven't read the other ones like I said, but the reason I'm reading this one is because one of the prompts is a Disney retelling, and also I have an ARC of this. So I'm going to try to, you know, get that ARC. So that is the first one. I honestly like have not even read the synopsis. Like genuinely, I don't know what the book is about at all. So off to a great start. The next book that I want to read is The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Pinner. I just literally had the biggest blank, even though I have been anticipating this book for months. So this book is by the author of The Lost Apothecary, which is like one of my favorite books I've ever read. I seriously love that book so much. So all of her books are like a combination of like historical fiction and like contemporary, and we're always following like women characters, and all of her books have a little bit of something spicy in there, like a little magical, if you will. So this book is very interesting. So we are following, in our present day, we are following a girl named Haven who is going to be going to Positano on the Amalfi Coast to look for some treasure that her dad found before he passed away. He was kind of like a scuba diver treasure hunter. And then in the past, we are following these group of sea witches that control the water, and they can do like different spells. And they were like in Positano, and they would like protect the coast from pirates and stuff, but then people started to get like suspicious of them. And so that is kind of the two little different timelines. I read like the first 5% of this, and we read about the witches, and I was like, okay, love this. So I'm really looking forward to this one. The reason I want to read this actually honestly is like a 3-fer. This ticks all the boxes. So first, non-linear timeline, because we're jumping back and forth. That is for Summer Bingo, so that is the prompt. Also, I do have an arc of this, even though I didn't get to it, and then I bought the Book of the Month copy, so this works for all 3 things that I'm trying to accomplish this month. So definitely gonna be reading this one. I have been super anticipating it. I just didn't get to the arc before it came out. The next book that I'm gonna read is for Summer Bingo, and it is Ella Enchanted. So one of the prompts was a Newbery winner, which Newbery is a middle grade fiction award, and I picked Ella Enchanted, and I loved this movie. I can't, is it this, does this have Anne Hathaway in it? Is that who's in this movie? Now I have to check. But I loved this movie when I was younger, and I didn't honestly even like realize it was based on a book. Oh yeah, it does have Anne Hathaway. I didn't realize it was based on a book, which probably sounds a little silly, but I am going to read this one. When I saw that it was on the list that they suggested, I was like, wow, perfect, love that. So I'm gonna read this. This one should be a quick little read. It's only like 200 pages, and it is middle grade. So yeah, very excited. If you don't know, this book is about Ella, and she receives the gift of obedience when she's born. And I say gift because it kind of becomes like a curse, because people will be like, do this silly thing, and then she'll like have to do it because of her little curse. So yeah, and then she goes on a quest to break her curse. So very exciting. So that's the next one. Another one that I have is The Cliffs, and this is for Summer Bingo, and this is for a prompt of set at the beach. And from what I understand about this one, this is about a house on the coast in Maine. And it's like about this house, and this girl is like very interested in this house, but then someone buys the house and like changes it, and then it's kind of like going over like the history and stuff. It sounds really interesting, and I've heard good recommendations. I'm a little hesitant because the past couple like contemporary fiction-y stories I've read I haven't super enjoyed, so like not super looking forward to this at the moment, but like I do want to read it, and it does fit the prompt, and it is on my physical TBR, so like those are all things that, you know, like good for me. Then the other Summer Bingo prompt that I'm gonna try to address this month is I'm gonna try to do the epistolary one. And when I saw that prompt, I'm gonna be so honest, I didn't know what that word meant. But then when I looked it up, it's basically just a book that's told in like a non-traditional format. So it can be like letter format, or it can be like more modern. It could be like text messages, like interviews, multimedia type stuff. And so I kind of am like going back and forth between 2 options for this one, and I have reasons. So my first option is called LMNOP, and this is about the town it's the island of Nollop, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and it was named after Nevin Nollop, who was the author of the immortal phrase containing all the letters of the alphabet, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. And what happens is in this town, they have like a sign that has that saying, and then the letters start to fall off, and like as the letters start to fall off, like you can't use those letters anymore. And so, and it's told in letters, like this girl named Ella is like writing letters to someone about this situation. And so at first it has like all the letters and the little saying, and then as the letters fall off, it like shows, I think, like, yeah, so like the first letter to fall off is like the Z, so then the next one they have like the Z missing. And I read like the first few pages of this, and honestly the vocabulary was like a little bit out of my comfort zone, so I didn't love it like super a ton, but it seems really interesting, and one of my students recommended it to me, and like I really do try to read some of the books that my students recommend to me, because I just think it's like so cute that they want to share their books with me, and it does sound like super interesting, so I definitely want to try this one. So this is like one of the options. And then the other option is We Could Be Rats by Emily Austin. But this one I'm a little bit hesitant about because I have not been feeling the best just overall mentally. And I believe this book is like this, it's about these two sisters, and one of them is like writing a suicide note. And so like that's kind of like where the letter part comes in, is like she's writing these suicide notes, and I just like don't know. And it's like a bunch of different attempts. Like halfway through the book it's like attempt 19, and I think, and then the other half like kind of is not that way, but I just don't know if I'm like really in the mood for that. So I'm not so like sure that I want to go for this one. I do want to read it eventually, but I just don't know if like I'm in the right space to read this one. But if I did, it also would count for my book of the month, so that would be great. Maybe I'll read both of them. I mean, they're both books I want to read, but those are two options for the epistolary prompt. And then let's see. So then a couple other arcs that I have the one by Courtney Walsh called Everything's Coming Up, Rosie, and I didn't read the synopsis of this, but I listened to her arc last year of The Summer of Yes, and I did like it. And this is an author that writes books that do not have swearing and they don't have any open door sex scene, so you know, it's like a little bit different than a lot of the books on the market, and that is kind of nice, you know. So every now and then, don't get me wrong, I love reading a little spicy book, but I don't know, I just like really liked this book from this author last year that I read, and so I like requested this one, and I got this arc and I got the audio, so I'm gonna try to listen to this one. I also got sent an arc of this book called He's to Die For, and I think it's a romance. I'm not really sure, but I also requested the audio and got that. So those are like two arcs I'm going to try to read. And then I have a few more. So then for book of the month, I want to try and read Our Infinite Fates. I didn't actually get this one when it came out. I skipped, and then I got this one later on when I didn't want to get any of the books. I did like, this is like, it was like pick a member fave, and I got this one. And this one is about these two people, and they keep getting like reborn into different lifetimes, and in every single lifetime they fall in love, but they also like kill each other, and it gets told like back and forth, and you're kind of like trying to figure out. And in like this current lifetime that they're in, like she like wants to stop him because she like does not want to die, and for some reason I can't remember, and so it's like going back and forth. It seems really interesting, so I do want to read this for my book of the month challenge. And then another one of my book of the months that I just think would be super fun and I have been looking forward to is She Really Going Out With Him by Sophie Cousins. I have not read anything by this author, even though I own a couple of their books, but this one is about a mom whose daughter sets her up on different dates, and I just think that that sounds super cute, and I think this would just be like a really fun little read. So that is why I picked this one, to try and get some more book of the month ones done. And then the last book that I have just on my June TBR is This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune, and this is just for fun. I just want to read this book, and so I want to pick this one up. This one is about this girl who goes, it's in Prince Edward Island. I think this girl goes and she sleeps with this guy, but then it's her best friend's younger brother and she doesn't know. And so I want to read this one. I actually am also super interested in reading her new release about Charlie, I think is his name. But yeah, I want to read this one for fun. This one's been calling out to me. And then just a little bonus TBR, if you will. I do have some books that I had on my May TBR that I did not finish in May, but I do still want to read, and I probably will try to read them at the beginning of June. So those books, just really quick, are Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt and ACOWAR. Those are 3 books that were on my May TBR that I did not get to, but I still do have intentions of reading and getting to soon. I did realize that Left of Forever is a sequel to the book Savor It, so I'm actually currently listening to that book to get ready to read Left of Forever, because I do typically try to read series in order even when they're just interconnected standalones. So I am reading that to get ready for that. And then my last bonus TBR item is Sunrise on the Reaping, because I did start this past weekend. I got about 50 pages in, and I do want to finish this as well. So it's not really on my TBR. I didn't put it on there, but I am probably going to read this in June. So that is all of the books I want to read in June. That video was kind of all over the place, and I really don't know what a bunch of those books are about. So if you are looking to get ideas, I'm sorry. I didn't really have that much to say. You're just going to have to go based on vibes, I suppose. But Thank you so much for being here. Let me know what you guys want to read in June down in the comments, or if you've read any of these and you're excited that I'm gonna read them. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Love you.